Welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only podcast that, like the Cardinals, has no recognizable talent. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Ben Samorka.
From the top ropes. That was good.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. And thank you to whoever you are out there that sent that in via text message. After this last week, I mean, you can certainly squint your eyes and see some future talent on the team. But looking about as bleak as the future of this podcast right now for the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals.
Today, if we had to go win a game today, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cardinals have future prospects and
yeah.
we have none.
Big picture, yeah, that's a
out.
good point. Like, if you're betting on the 2028 St. Louis Cardinals or 2028 Talking About Birds, your money's much more well-placed over on that side than us.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. You know, it's fine. I don't.
We don't need that.
That doesn't keep me up. Yeah.
We've never pretended to be good. At least the Cardinals have, at least for a while said they were good, even if they weren't.
I think the real differentiator is that this is free. You can consume this for free. You do not have to. There is no expectation of paying $35 a seat in the bleachers and buying a Coke and a pretzel. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. No expectation
welcome.
of pay, but some do. And shout out to the patrons. We
God bless them.
Big love out to the patrons. Hambone, I got a little story for you before we get into or maybe the actual biggest move of the off season. But I just want to get your take on
this better be good.
On how
this better be good.
So I was at Costco the other day. We've talked about Costco a fair bit on this show.
Brag.
Yeah. Wow. I was there with my kids. I have two children, and they are fans of the Costco Cafe as well. So, but it is absolute.
It's a ripping deal. Who's not a fan of it?
There's three of us, and it is an absolutely packed day at Costco. So the whole cafe area is nonsense. People are waiting everywhere. You know, the number that's being called is like 40 away from my own number. So I've got the kids situated at a table. They're guarding my my cart while I'm waiting. I have a simple order: 3 slices of pizza. Really should have just gotten a whole pie, but it would have been more mayhem had I. But from a price standpoint, best deal in America, $10 for that pizza. But
no, you get the dog. That's the best deal. What are you talking about?
I don't know. In this economy, is a $10 like big pepperoni pizza a better deal than a $1.50 hot dog?
What can you get? Like 7 hot dogs for $10? 8 hot something?
No,
like
they're
that?
$1.50. So yeah, I guess yeah, like six of them.
You just said no just because you wanted to be mean to me. But yeah, no, it was about right.
Yeah, you got it right. So what do you want? Just 6 hot dogs, or
with a Coke? 6 Cokes
that's
too.
A great point. Well, all right. We'll call it. We'll say it's a wash.
Move on with your story.
So anyway, I've got 3 slices of pizza and a double chocolate chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
And so I've been waiting for a while. They call my number, and I walk up, and they've got two of the slices out and the cookie, and they're getting the third. So I've worked in restaurants before, so I do the thing where I've got the cookie in my elbow, I've got another slice of pizza on my left wrist, and then I've got another slice in my left hand. And my third slice comes out, and as it comes out, the guy yells a number, one after mine, and I grab the piece of the pizza, which is clearly for me. And this other woman comes up, this elderly woman, probably a foot shorter than me, and I'm not a tall guy, comes up. She says, "Did you say 517 or whatever?" She goes, "Yeah," and she rips the slice of pizza out of my hand as I'm doing this balancing act of, of carrying food for my children. Just snags right out of my hands. So, needless to say, I'm no longer allowed at Costco.
You got pizza cucked by an old woman.
I did. No, in reality, I sheepishly was like, and just let her take it. And then the guy looked at me. We shared a simple, like, okay, kind of face,
Yeah.
I really wanted to do the cuckoo, but my hands were full of pizza. And I went about my day. But I could not believe.
Did you get a third slice?
Well, of course I got a third slice. He was coming up with hers in his hand.
Okay.
We had the same thing. She like, in her defense, at least, like, her number had been called and it was the thing that she ordered. But just to, like, grab it out of some guy's hand. I mean, it was chaos in there, but I mean,
I believe in the lead poisoning theory
of
that there's a certain type of group of people that encounter too much lead when they're a certain age. But I'm proud of you. I'm not sure if I would have been as agreeable.
Yeah.
And I mean, getting in between me and some cheese pizza, like,
arguably cowardly, I think would be the real answer. But I mean, I'm not an angry man, but I will say that was some of the most stunned I've been in general public for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a harrowing story. I bet people out there, they may have turned the pot off. It was just too much.
I know.
That was incredible.
I didn't mean to scare everybody. And, we might have some new listeners from our episode last week with Dan. So, I hope that you've made it through this. But this is kind of therapy.
You're not going to believe this. I was in line the other day and somebody cut me in line.
No fucking way. Dude, this country, I mean, come on.
Hell in a handbasket, my friend. Hell in a hand. I don't even go outside anymore.
We can't stand in lines anymore. We used to have lines, Ben.
Queues. I was asked to queue recently.
Oh, that's how delightful. How European.
We were in a really shitty bar. But yeah.
Watching some
life's
footy.
Hard, man. Life's hard for people like us. That's what I can say.
Yeah. I guess the only other big thing we got, the bad sport's almost done this weekend, so that's good. And so finally people can. It's this weekend, right?
Yes, it's this weekend.
So finally that can all be done, and the attention can turn towards baseball across the board.
I think a lot of people feel like the end of the Super Bowl is the official beginning of baseball season. So yeah, we're days away, my friend.
Yeah,
it's coming.
We've got pitchers and catchers reporting here shortly, which will be really exciting. There'll be guys on the field doing, my favorite headline, baseball-like activities. Don't you just love it?
Baseball-like activities are good.
Yeah. I
like when the guys are wearing kind of like warm-up clothes and swinging their arms around.
I love okay, so let's make a bet right now, Hambone.
Yeah.
Best shape of their life watch. Who's coming in best shape of their life?
They're all young. They all don't need to do this.
Well, okay, but if we want to expand it then to body change, like who's coming in, who do you think's going to come in with the most aggressive or I guess reported body change?
Yeah. I'll go with Gorman just because I feel like he's always trying to do a little thing. And then I don't know, Newt's heels have me concerned. Maybe Newt, we're on heel watch with Newt.
Yeah.
Outside, I mean, they're all young. Like, there's not like, it's all. I think it's like swing change or new pitch season. I was going through Tread Athletics TikTok the other day, and there are a smattering of Cardinals who have learned new cues to help them throw a slider better, or they've learned to change up, or we're gonna see what is it, Scott Blewett come in with a slider that is angled slightly more
S-tier
down.
baseball name. I mean, really, we certainly hope to be hearing a lot of these stories because basically everybody on this pitching staff needs to improve to some degree. So hopefully they're coming in with that.
As much of best shape of his life is kind of like It's just like a joke at this point and a weird trope that baseball nerds like to joke around at.
What are you talking about?
I believe in new pitch watch.
Yeah.
I believe in these types of things. Now, do I believe that Scott Blewett is going to be like a closer because he's angled his slider 9 more degrees down than it was? Probably not. But I think there's some meat on them bones.
Yeah.
Num 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 num.
What was that? It's good. I liked it. It got me. It got me.
Yeah.
Let the big dog.
It's mean.
Let the big dog eat.
You get it.
Yeah, I get it.
You get it.
Yeah. All right, Hambo. Let us tarry no further. People were starting to doubt that it would even happen.
This pod.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was starting to become a reasonable take that, hey, they just didn't get the offer that they wanted, and the Cardinals were never going to just trade Brendan Donovan for the sake of trading Brendan Donovan, which we all agree with. And it seems like, as far as I can tell, the Rays, which is what they love to do, sort of poked their little head in and said, hey, you guys trying to get something across the finish line here? Maybe we can help. And lo and behold, Brendan Donovan, all-time sweetie, friend of the show, told me I have great hair. He was just being nice, but, still, that's the kind of guy he is.
When you die, that's going to be on your tombstone.
Brendan Donovan said I have great hair.
And by that time, I will have started to doubt you that this ever even happened, that you've just made this up entirely.
Brendan Donovan, remember him? So the one of the best players still remaining on this team, but really going into the offseason, he was the top trade candidate between his value, his versatility, his age, and his team control. 2 years, it's the perfect time to trade it if you're in a rebuild. We all had been lobbying for the trade to happen, and here we are. We're certainly going to talk through the players and the return and our overall opinions on the trade. But I will start with a similar way that I started with the Nolan Arenado one, which was just like, damn, he's been one of the most fun players to watch on the team for the last few years. Guy who kind of came out of nowhere and was sort of positioning himself as a leader of the team. And it's just that kind of baseball player that everyone likes, not flashy, hits a ton of doubles, will play wherever you want him to play, and says all the right things in an interview, including nice things about strange people's hair. So I was sad. It's not the same vibe that I felt with Arenado, where I was just like, it's a Hall of Fame guy. It just, the whole thing kind of fell apart, and it was just sad as the whole thing just to be a big old salary dump. This was like a smart baseball move that I get, but I was still bummed. Like, the Cardinals will be less fun in 2026 because of this. And for someone who watches just about every game, that matters, even if I think it was the right move, which I do.
Yeah, it's he's not a super flashy player, but he is a very good player, and ultimately probably an underrated player. There's been a lot of numbers. I think Jeff Passan, somebody put it in the Bird Score today, or maybe it was on Reddit or something like that, noted that over since 2022 through 2025, that Brendan Donovan and Bo Bichette have almost the same WAR and almost the same stat line.
Yeah.
And I think, depending, I think that Bichette's probably a little bit better of a hitter, and Donovan's maybe a bit better of a defender. But anyway, how you slice it, he's a very good player. There's, I think, a real chance that we haven't even seen the best of Brendan Donovan yet. I could see him being in the middle of that really nice offense that the Mariners have put together, and that pitching staff and everything, just him having a really great year, if not a career year. But he is of all these Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan, these guys even Matt Carpenter is similar. He's been one of the better versions of that. Lars Nootbaar, these guys that kind of don't have a ton of prospect pedigree, come up, impact the big league club in a real way, and stick around, and then go have a great. It's really it's a really easy story to root for. And then, like you said, he's got all the other soft skills that make him
Yeah.
great, and the hair and the style and the getting your jersey dirty. Um,
Yeah.
the thing that I wanted this deal to happen. I'm happy that it did happen. I'm happy with the trade. The only time I felt a little tinge of oh no was I actually got lunch with a guy who is a Mariners fan
Hmm.
from Washington today. And he goes, "How about that deal?" So on and so forth. He goes, "Man, I hope we extend him." And I was like, "Oh no, that can happen now." And that means he's
he's
like he could be remembered as a
oh
Mariner.
yeah.
And that I don't know why, but that it gut punched me a little
Yeah.
bit. I was like, "Oh, he's our guy." No, oh my,
Now he's their guy now. Yeah, and he's going to a winning team, a team with World Series aspirations. Barely missed it last year. It's actually not unlike Tommy Edman too. Goes over to the Dodgers, gets extended,
yeah.
and he's a Dodgers legend. And I do think like I have a mixed bag of feelings about Donovan's situation in Seattle because undoubtedly it's a better team and it's a better opportunity to win.
One of the best teams in
Yeah,
baseball.
and I think it made a lot of sense for them to acquire him. I do worry, like, what does a Brendan Donovan stat line look like if at the end of the year he only hit 6 home runs? Like what does that do to something like a WRC plus? Can he make it up with a lot more doubles and more walks and all the other things that he does really, really well? And he's obviously going to be in a better lineup for scoring runs and things like that, which will add up. But it's a really tough ballpark to hit in. They have some of the best power hitters in baseball who hit it as hard as you possibly can, and even they struggle to hit home runs at their ballpark. So I wonder how that will go for him. But everything else, I mean,
I think
it's
I think it's going to work out
yeah.
for him and the Mariners. I think he's gonna be only 29 coming into this season. Whether or not lineup protection actually matters or not, he's going to be hitting in front of very likely Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez,
Yeah.
and Josh Naylor. That's the best
Oh
situation
yeah.
he's been in since the Paul Goldschmidt Nato year. He'll be at the top of the lineup. He'll be used at probably third base, second base, maybe in the outfield. I think they are. I think it is going to be a great situation. I think he's going to perform very well there. And I actually think the fact that his game is not centered around power, it's him providing value in every other
Yeah.
part of his game is actually going to make it way better. Like, I guess he doesn't steal, but he hits for average. He gets on base. He plays good defense. He hits some doubles. I think he's going to have
Yeah.
a great time, and I think they're going to love
His
him.
lack of power is what ultimately caps his value, and is why he's been around like, a 2 to 4 WAR player, which is super valuable. And again, there's a reason why the Mariners wanted him, and there's a reason why the Cardinals got the type of package that they got. But I just wonder, what does it look like if he ends the season with 280, 350 OBP, but 6 home runs and 5 stolen bases? Is that going to impact the overall line to a way where his value just isn't what it? But St. Louis wasn't a great place to hit
I
either.
think.
So
Oh, I was going to say. I also think you're not remembering what the OPSs on the Mariners were last year. Like Cal Raleigh, who had one of the best seasons we've seen. I'm looking at it right now. Had an 820. That can't be right. 823 OPS.
yeah,
Is that right?
I think it was because
Yeah.
he doesn't. Yeah, so.
But he had a 161 WRC plus because of the ballpark that he plays in.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think like even if he does that, it's still, with adjustments and everybody else playing in that same ballpark. I really, really feel confident he's going to have a nice year.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but I just like for him, I think there's a potential that this isn't the best environment for his certain set of skills. But of course, everything else, it's exactly where you want to be. And at the end of the day, like Seattle has to have a team. They have to have so you could do a lot.
They have to have a team.
Well, you know what I mean, like because there are other options.
I mean, they don't have
to.
to.
That's a good point. They could just forfeit every game. We're good. We're gonna go play Nintendo.
He's reunited with Andrew Kisner as well.
Oh well. I mean, that's worth it alone, I suppose.
Right. And I
Um,
guess technically Randy Rosarena, they crossed over, didn't they?
no,
Yeah, they did. 23.
wait. Rosarena wasn't with the Cardinals in 23.
Oh, wait, he never did. Rosarena never actually played in the big leagues. Oh, God, my brain is broken. Yeah, he
Man,
did, didn't he?
it's certainly not 23 though. He was traded.
Oh, it was 19.
Yeah,
It was 19.
yeah.
Ignore me. Ignore me.
It's all right. We're all mush anyway. Yeah. So anyway, I guess his legacy with the Cardinals, an interesting one. Ultimately, only a handful of years, but like fan favorite kind of guy, And I like you mentioned it before, but it's an interesting part about the Cardinals' overall ability to stay competitive. Has often been fueled by their ability to create a Brendan Donovan, take these kind of gritty guys and turn them into doubles machines that maybe evolve into more power, maybe they don't, but they end up providing an abundance of value over what you were expecting.
Over his Cardinals career, he was the third best player from a F4 accrual. It was Arenado, Goldschmidt, Brendan
Yeah.
Donovan. And again, he is kind of a nobody from nowhere and, came onto the scene and just was good. Not great, but
Yeah.
good.
And so that is quite valuable. And the Cardinals were holding him close to the chest, not willing to just trade for nobody. And they end up swinging one of the more interesting packages that we have seen, and really gives you just another little glimpse into the way Chaim Bloom operates. Really compelling trade package. Uh, I guess like let's just run down everything that's in it, and then we'll go down the players one by one, and then we'll kind of at the end we'll give our take on the trade itself. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. Obviously, the Mariners are receiving utility fielder Brendan
Uh-huh.
Donovan for the next 2 seasons. Good for them. The Rays, who, like you said, kind of stuck their nose into this trade, and we're not mad about it. It's fine that this happened. They got a glove first third baseman from the Mariners named Ben Williamson. So he is on the Rays now. And then the Cardinals, your Cardinals, Nathan,
Wow.
received switch starting pitcher Jurrangelo
Cijntje.
Cijntje?
Yes, he is
Cijntje.
an amphibious pitcher.
An
Do you know?
amphibious pitcher. You were pretty happy with that,
Well,
weren't
there's
you?
like an old. I learned about this actually because of this trade. Because a ton of people were saying, "Oh, the amphibious pitcher Cijntje," and apparently there's like some headline from back in the day for another pitcher, and it's a big newspaper headline. They obviously mean ambidextrous, but this like newspaper printed amphibious pitcher.
Great.
Yeah.
Our reptilian.
Yeah.
Is that good enough? Yeah, Jurrangelo Cijntje, obviously the big name in this deal
Yeah.
coming back to your St. Louis Cardinals. They also got a very young outfielder named Peete. So those two players were from the Mariners. They got Colton Ledbetter from the Rays, and then they got a draft pick from each of those teams. It was I should have had this written down, but it was a second round.
It's a compensation. It's the compensation round. So it's essentially the second round of the draft.
Right.
And it is expected to be, I think it's pick 68 and 72 or 73. Some of this is still settled, depending on where I think I saw something related with what Zach Gallen ends up doing will determine where this other pick ends up.
Oh, I guess because of the qualifying offer.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So in baseball, you can't trade normal draft picks, but they can trade the compensation round. These picks are given out for a variety of reasons, but are typically given to the low budget and revenue sharing teams to it's competitive balance. We keep saying compensation, but competitive balance picks is what they're called.
There we go.
Yeah. Which are quite valuable. So it's basically a second round pick. So a top, like we just said, it's like 68, 72. It also gives you more slot money, We've talked about that on previous episodes. Every draft pick provides slot money, and then you can do what you want with that slot money. So you can underpay a first round pick to save money, to overpay a third round, etc. The more money you have, the more flexibility you have. So these are more players and more money. So pretty valuable.
Yeah. So let's talk about Jurrangelo Cijntje. Cijntje, I've practiced saying it because I wanted, now that he's a Cardinal, have to get the name right. The most interesting thing about this guy is that he is a starting pitcher that can pitch from the right and the left side. He was the first pick, 15 overall in 2024 by the Seattle Mariners, and was obviously just traded. Common, if you've looked up this guy, I'm sure that you've read the fact that he is pretty darn good from the right side and kind of a bit of a loogie from the left side. I think on the February 1st, Seattle said that they were going to continue to develop him only as a right-handed pitcher. The Cardinals have not said anything. I'm sure that they'd like to meet the guy and kind of take a look at him and see what the stuff looks like before they make any decisions like that. But from the right side, he is, he's a little undersized, but common consensus from Fangraphs, from MLB, Baseball America, is that this guy has a very real chance of being a 2 or a 3, and then, potentially peaking as a first, as an ace type starter. He's got a fastball that can get up to 99. He's got a really nice slider. He's got a really nice changeup. 3 pitches that are all above average pitches. The only thing against him is he's got a little bit of control issues. And Nate, I'll just say it. I think if I'm in the Heim's chair or whoever's making this decision, I think this guy's clearly a freak athlete. He's also a switch hitter. He was drafted a couple of years ago before he got drafted as a shortstop. This kid can do anything.
Yeah.
And if anything you read about him, they talk about the body control, the athleticism, just how amazing he is. I really think if you let this kid just pick a lane, and it seems like right-handed starting pitcher is that lane, that he is going to exceed where he is now by quite a good bit because he's not focusing on this other half of the game and that other half of his body and the motions and everything that goes along with, being a switch pitcher. Obviously, I hate the idea of kind of not taking advantage of his freak of nature skill, but I think, unfortunately, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course it would have been super exciting and a lot of fun to see a guy like in a Major League Baseball game switch between left and right-handed. And if able to execute, you could certainly see like the value of the platoon splits and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it seems like that was good. It was enough to get him through it in some of the low minors, and he could maybe be successful at it at the Major League level. But to what end? A high 90s fastball is going to play against lefties and righties. So just get really good at that. And like you said, maybe just focus. Because if you look at some of his numbers from the recent years, it doesn't like completely jump off the page at you. But there is an argument to be made that he was maybe not performing at peak level because he was trying to be a switch pitcher. And so what would those numbers have looked like if he had just spent his entire time throwing high 90s gas from the right side? I read a thing the other day. While there are a lot of successful pitchers in baseball that do a lot of very different things, if you look at basically the consensus top 5 pitchers, they are all elite fastball guys. You pretty much have to have an elite fastball to be the best. And I think it's interesting that the Cardinals, while they've acquired some guys that are not elite fastballs and are stockpiling of 4ths and 5ths, the like prospects that they've been targeting, Cijntje, Brandon Clark, Liam Doyle, these are all fastball guys. And I don't think that's, a mistake or not exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, they're kind of like when you're trying to think of what Bloom and goons are trying to do here. They are grabbing as much young ceiling starting pitching as they possibly can. I have to imagine they're sitting there thinking, okay, in between Cijntje, Roby, Matthews,
Doyle, Clark.
Doyle, Clark. If you want to throw Ian Henderson or Ivan Henderson
Mouts
in there, Mouts, Che Lin, there's all these really these guys that we could never see them. They could totally explode. But if you gather enough of those guys, kind of like the Dodgers, if you gather enough starting pitchers, some of them will show up someday.
Yeah.
And it seems to be pretty clear that that's what we're doing here. Just gathering these high ceiling guys and hoping a handful of them actually make it. I'm sure a handful of these guys will be relievers. And you look up in a couple, 3 years or something like that, and the Cardinals have a really stout homegrown rotation. And it's wild how quickly this has changed. We have the Fitz and the Dobbins of the world who can start right now and get in there and help us out. And then we have a pretty good selection of potentially very high-end, very exciting young men.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute too, but we got a lot of draft picks. We'll talk more about it. We already went into it a little bit, but we've got a lot of draft picks now too, and so we'll see who they select in the draft this summer. But yeah, it's this trade is making it come together for me a little bit more. I mean, I've been enjoying their decision making all offseason to begin with, but adding in like a Cijntje, and it's like, it's almost starting to feel like we've got too many of these guys, but that's just never the case. There's an adage, there's no such thing as a pitching prospect. There's a reason that is the case. There's a reason people say that. Like you said, we'll be really fortunate if two of these guys end up being like really, really good Major League Baseball starting pitchers. But the acquisitions of the Fitz and the Dobbins and stuff like that does make a little bit more sense now when you're like, all right, we're going to stack for our rebuild years. We're going to stack as many just sort of mid-level guys, hope a few of them pop, but we're not going to like spend a ton of money on them, like an $11 million Lance Lynn or whatever, which is essentially the same thing. And we'll just let these young guys develop and see where we end up in a couple of years. So it makes sense.
And you think, like you're just saying, like, so we just listed all those young men, those young prospects that could pop. I think it's entirely reasonable that Liberatore or McGreevy or Leahy or Dobbins or any of these other guys could also develop into being something that they're not right now. Like, pitchers are changing all the time. So I feel very confident that in, not 26, but in 27 or 28, we're going to have a very fun, young, controlled pitching staff. And, hopefully they just continue to build the team around those guys and JJ and whoever else is still here.
Yeah. It's going to be like, there's a lot of guys now that have an argument to make their Major League debut in 2026 from that pool of high upside starting pitching. So it'll be really interesting to see how they play this. How long do you let Palante, if he's even in the rotation, give it a go when you've got a healthy Quinn Matthews? Or if you've got a healthy Tink Hence, do you just bring him up? Let's do it. Let's see what we've got. How long can he last? We haven't mentioned him in any of this. If it weren't for health, he's got one of the highest upsides of all those guys. So, it's going to be a really interesting thing to see how they balance getting the job done right now, playing the game that's in front of us, and starting to mix in these guys and seeing who is really the future of the rotation.
Yeah. Another guy that the Cardinals were able to pry from the Mariners is Peete, who is a 20-year-old. He is a former shortstop, now a center fielder. He's 6'2", 190. He ended last season at high A. He put up only a 79 WRC plus. He was striking out all of the time. But even with a 217 batting average, he hit 19 home runs and stole 25 bases. He was another first round pick by the Mariners in 23, overall 30. Got a really big, nice signing bonus. But speed power guy, there's not a lot of contact. I think I even read one article was kind of worried about if like he has good vision, if he's actually can see what is going on because he's had some swings.
Great.
I'll tell you my point of view on this really quick. I kind of look at this kid like Joshua Baez.
Sure.
And maybe a little more toolsy even than Joshua Baez, but he's young. He's in high A. He's striking out over 30%, but there's all the potential in the world. And I think where the Cardinals are right now, and by that I mean they don't need to rush a guy like this. You let him cook. You let him marinate. You can't teach those things. You can't teach speed and power.
Yeah.
At least like this kid has. So I like it. Does this guy impact the big league roster ever? I don't know. But I would rather bring a guy who can put up a 30-30 season than not have a guy that is this exciting. So,
well, when you put it that way, yeah. Okay, dude, you got two options. You can have either a 30-30 guy or not a 30-30 guy. I'm going 30-30
when you
guy
say it like
time.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
I know you're being willfully obtuse, but you know what I'm saying, right?
I do. And I'm
you son of a bitch.
Come at me. I'll slap that pizza out of your hands. I
wish I had a pizza.
Same. It's Tab After Dark, by the way. Did we even say that? We're recording at night.
Wow.
Do you have dinner yet?
No. Hurry up. Let's go.
I had soup.
I'm starving over here.
Soup.
I'd kill for some soup.
Yeah. How much? Like, who would you kill for soup?
That old woman.
Dude, tell me about it. I got her license plate number.
That's good. Okay.
Anyway,
Peete.
so Peete.
Yeah.
I
great name, right? That's a good name. You like it?
Oh, it's a great name. Yeah, obviously he had some prospect pedigree, had some heat behind him after he was drafted. Is basically the prototypical risk reward prospect. Like, these are your Joshua Baez, these are your Adolis Garcia, your Randy Arozarena, for every one of those that make the major leagues and completely impacted and the speed and power comes together and they have some amazing seasons. There's a dozen that don't get out of the low minors because they can't handle the strikeout. He has plummeted off of prospect lists because of that. That is a very high strikeout rate for such the low minors. Now that said, he's only 20 years old. He was relatively young in single A. So there's still plenty of time. There is no rush. And I certainly hope he takes the Joshua Baez route, which is exactly that. Strike out way too much. Something clicks, and now he's a top prospect, a quickly rising prospect in all of baseball, and someone that we're very, very excited about. So what we've been saying is that the Cardinals need to chase upside in basically every decision they make right now. And there's no argument that this is not them chasing upside. And it was also just nice to see them acquire a position player. I know we needed pitching.
They can do it.
I know we needed pitching. But it was starting to feel like maybe we could use a few other guys over on the position. We're not set over there yet either. So let's see if we can bring in some talent there. So I'm of course, he's a Cardinal now. I am incredibly excited about his potential, but we also have to be very prepared for him just not getting below a 38% strikeout rate or whatever it is. And
this could be a Joshua Baez. It could be is it Delvin Perez? Am I even remembering that name?
Yeah, right? The shortstop, the a first round pick from several years ago that everyone was hyped on.
Yeah. So we'll see. What is funny is that he's a left-handed outfielder, which we definitely have enough of those. And the Cardinals also somehow acquired even another player in this deal. This guy came from the Rays. He was the second-round pick in 2023 for the Rays. His name is Colton Ledbetter, which Peete's a good name, but that's That's an S tier, top of the tops name right there.
Uh-huh.
Outfielder, he is 23, finished last season at AA, put up a 112 WRC plus. He's got a lot of steals. He's got a little bit of power. He's an all right fielder. He's kind of an all right player. He's, this guy is not super exciting, but he does just kind of feel like a guy that will probably make a major league roster at some point. And he's probably not going to ever go to an all-star game or anything like that, but he will probably contribute to a big league ball club at some point in his career. At least that's the trajectory I see him going.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's a good depth. The Cardinals, again, we need everything. And there's a little bit upside there still, but at the end of the day, maybe he ends up being the best case fourth outfielder for the Cardinals, right? That sort of thing. Or there's a bunch of injuries and you need a guy who's going to give you some degree of spark, and he's going to play for a little while.
He's hit above average his 2 years in the minors. He keeps climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
You never know. Who knows? These guys can turn into Brendan Donovan. They could turn into somebody we never talk about. But I think the fact that the Rays also threw in a guy who seems to be a potential baseball player is kind of wild. And then on top of that, like we said, we got a second round pick from each of those teams. And Nate, that means that the Cardinals in the upcoming draft. Anything else you want to say about Ledbetter?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah. The Cardinals are going to have picks 13, 32, 50, 68, 72, and 86 coming up in this next year's draft. And while I'm very excited about Cijntje, I think Peete could be something to be really excited about. That is what I am most excited about, is the fact that they have all these draft picks coming up in next year's draft. That alone is going to be such a shot of adrenaline in the arm of the farm system that is already looking like one of the best in baseball.
Yeah.
If the Cardinals can nail this upcoming draft, you feel. We've never been here before.
Yeah.
We've never been in this type of scenario before. I don't even know what we're going to feel like, but it will be good and it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Baseball Prospectus released their top farm systems list like yesterday. It did not include the Brendan Donovan trade, and they put the Cardinals at the second best farm system in baseball, and that is before the acquisition of Cijntje and Peete and Ledbetter and these draft picks. So I don't know if that pushes them over the edge, number one, but either way, 2 is pretty good. And then you add in these draft picks. It is still a bummer that the Cardinals didn't get like a top 5 pick when they had such a good chance at one, because how fun would that be to slot that in there and just like, oh yeah, we'll stack another JJ in there. But either way, it's a lot. And ultimately, like between these trades, this offseason, and these upcoming picks, I think there's no doubt in my mind that the new leadership group have stocked the farm system with a potential for a competitive team within the next few years. What now will matter is, can they actually do the development? So the Cardinals, like, you're right, we haven't had a farm system like this in a long time. But we've not been devoid of top prospects and good farm systems in the past.
I was there when Alex Reyes was
sure
number 2 prospect in baseball, maybe number 1, depending on who you're reading.
Yeah, I mean, and then we could go super high with Jordan Walker, also the number 1 prospect in baseball at one point. Dylan Carlson, Nolan Gorman, Ivan. The Cardinals. Alex Reyes, Carlos Martin, like the Cardinals we've had good farm systems. We've had good players come through. They just rarely actually pan out. And that is for a whole host of other reasons that we've talked about on this podcast. So like Heim has proven, I think, to me, one half of the deal, in that he's a shrewd manager as far as like the deals and the roster comp and like getting value from trades and all that and executing what he said he's going to execute. I think he's done a fantastic job.
Whoa. Don't execute me, dude.
But
It's
yeah,
amazing how quickly he's done it.
yeah. Well, yeah. I
Like
mean,
he hasn't even been in charge for an actual MLB game yet, and the team looks
fundamentally different.
completely. I feel like in the past we've given writers and people trouble for saying, "Oh, the new look Cardinals are here"
Yeah.
or whatever. This is the new look Cardinals. This is a completely different team than it was a few months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they look like right now? It's hard to say, but the future looks great. It's
Yes.
a really interesting spot to be. So now we just need all the other overhaul that he's done with bringing in more coaching staff and more technology and more alignment between the different
Well,
levels. We need that
I
to
mean,
work.
Nate, if he did this much player acquisition in a few months, he had a year plus
Yeah.
on the other. I'm feeling really good right now. I'm
For
drinking
sure.
the Kool-Aid
Oh, yeah.
right now. I'm in it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. So I think my final take on this trade in particular is one, we do have to remember that while we all love Brendan Donovan and he was an absolutely fantastic trade chip, there was a ceiling to what you're going to get for 2 years of a like 2 to 4 WAR player, right? This wasn't trading like an MVP candidate
Right.
with multiple years, right?
And it also might be a year and a half, or who knows
Right.
what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
But
with the lockout and everything. So
right.
all that aside, so I like there's a real possibility with the way pitchers develop and the risk reward of a guy like Peete. There's a possibility that none of these guys make the majors. They did not
Yep.
acquire any like bing bang boom. This is a for sure guy that's going to impact our major league roster. Like Cijntje, we love him, but he's on many lists, he's not even a top 100 prospect. And there's a reason to that. We kind of already went over it. So there's risk in him. So there's a lot of risk in this trade. And you always do that when you decide to get 5 guys for 1, which is essentially what this trade was. It was a 1 for 5 if you include the draft pick, the picks. And so they chose to go quantity over guaranteed quality. But I think that the degree of upside that these guys bring, the fact that Cijntje has the upside of a number 2, if not even higher, the fact that Peete could be a 30-30 guy, these draft picks, I think I'm very supportive of this direction with this trade. I think there's like a alternate universe version of this trade where they do like a 1-for-1 of like a 3 WAR player who could join the team right now in a position we need more than we needed with Donovan or with more control or whatever, and that would have made sense. But they're kind of shooting for the moon that if just one of these 5 guys pan out like we think they could, then we're going to be happy with this trade. If 2 or more do, then this is going to be like a franchise-altering trade, all from 2 years of Brendan Donovan.
You have to scout the other teams, pick the players you like, and dig your heels in and hope it works. And I think that has been something the Cardinals have been unable to do for a long time now. Under Mo, it's just use the information you have, make the best decision you possibly can, get the guys that you believe in the most, and hopefully it works out. One other thing in regards to this trade that I think that we have to talk about is the fact that it means that J.J. Weatherholt is probably – there's nothing really blocking him from being your starting second baseman. I think the only reason that won't happen or might not happen is if he just has a really bad and or injured spring training. But obviously he's done nothing but convince at least us two that he's going to be
and the
really
organization
and run with it.
Yeah, the organization's basically said as much that he's not a starting spot, and I'd think that even it'd have to be truly horrible for him to not get it out of spring training. I think they're just gonna be like, kind of whatever you do, you're gonna be the starting second baseman. I think it's gonna be JJ at second and Gorman at third for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and that's very fun. I think that there is another thing worth talking about. J.J. Weatherholt starting the year with the big league club, or at least like we said, it seems very likely. If he wins Rookie of the Year, Nate, that's another draft pick.
That's true.
So let's just keep rooting for that for all of the reasons. But
Yeah.
I think there are the projection systems and zips and everything. This is going to be a mediocre season, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun watching this team and JJ develop and everybody else.
It's at least a season with a direction. With
it's a season with a
we
direction.
Understand the goals and the expectations of this season, and that is such a welcome change from the last few years.
If you had to give this trade a letter grade or a star rating or whatever you feel, how many pizza slices? How would you rate the trade?
How many pizza slices would I grab out of an old lady's hands to rate this trade?
Are there's 6 or 8 pizza slices generally? Is it? I guess it depends on the size of the pizza.
It depends, but 8 would be
traditional.
Yeah. I mean, if it's party cut, emo style, it's like 18 or whatever. I don't know how many.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So give me a 1 to 18 pizza slices on how you
1 to
feel
18
about
pizza slices. Okay, with that range, I'm gonna say 16 out of 18 pizza slices.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good trade. I'm very happy with this. Like, it's the diversification of talent, just the sheer abundance of return. Like, those competitive balance picks it could be anything. It could even be a boat. There's a lot of value in that. So while I threw out the reality, I think, of the fact that none of these guys may have actually impact the team, I think it's the right thing for the team to do, to still seek these big quantity with upside deals rather than a sure thing. I guess the reason I don't give it perfect is that I think maybe there was a deal at some point that does bring us back like a surefire top prospect sort of thing that immediately is going to plug in and is just a locked in thing. And I think that would have been more fun. And it's been really what this offseason has lacked, is every single one of these guys the Cardinals have traded for. It's dream on, and knowing that we know we got a good guy with this.
Right. Well, you're eating a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys you traded are old.
Right.
Some are old and ineffective and have a lot of money. So yeah, I think especially looking pulling back, and who knows, they might not even be done yet. Is Newt going to be on this team? Is JoJo going to be on this team? Full 30,000 foot view. I feel really good about this offseason and how they've acquired new talent. This trade, I think 15, 16 pizza slices, A-, B+, somewhere around there. It wasn't absolutely blown away. I think the draft picks are going to be really important. And I think you have 3 players that could make the big leagues. They could reasonably make the big leagues. And I think that alone, you have to be excited about it. You could see there is a scenario in which Cijntje alone just makes this trade look really stupid for the Mariners and great for the Cardinals.
I really the degree that these guys, their upside is. I really think if just one of them becomes an everyday player, we'll ultimately be happy with this trade. If 2 of them do or more, that's where it becomes a crazy win.
Just how many more players we have now than we used to. There's just so many more guys.
There's a lot more baseball players, which has to mean something,
Yeah. You throw enough baseball players at the wall and some of them are going to stick.
There's a lot of single A players looking around going right now
oh shit.
Shit.
Oh God, what, Brandon Clark can throw a 98 mile an hour fastball from the left side? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about Donnie?
No. RIP to a real one. Good luck in Seattle. I've been a Mariners fan. They're one of my favorite AL teams, and more direct.
I think I'm rooting for the Mariners.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Mariners this year. It's pretty easy.
That Nintendo patch,
especially Nintendo patch. God, we love it.
We do.
And Donnie.
Yeah.
And I think I forgot until that conversation I had with that Mariners fan today that they've never even appeared in a World Series. It's
Yeah.
not that they haven't won, but they've never even appeared. Okay, let's move along. We do still have a rumor that, as soon as this trade happened, Bloom basically confirmed that the Cardinals are still looking for an outfielder. And I think, when you look at what our outfield is probably going to be, and I don't know if Cijntje is going to be taking reps out there or not, some of it makes sense. We've talked about this. What I had on the outline, Nate, is it seems like the Cardinals are just waiting for Andujar. And then what happened about 20 minutes into this record, if you want to timestamp us, is that Miguel Andujar and the San Diego Padres have agreed on a 1-year, $4 million contract. So that's not going to happen. Nate, I was looking through the available big league right-handed hitting anybody's out there today.
Yeah.
Pickens are slim.
Well,
the only thing... Yeah.
Andujar and Hayes were the two that were like, all right, cool. And we were starting to get a little hyped for Andujar. Clearly the Cardinals were not in on him as much as we believed, because they were not willing to beat a 1-year, $4 million deal, which is nothing to major league teams. So Cardinals, that's clearly just a pass,
Yeah. So, I'm looking at it right now, Nate. I guess you could consider Rhys Hoskins to be one of those guys. Starling Marte is absolutely one of those guys. He is 37 years old right now. So that's, I think, an important data point. And the only other person who I thought was even worth mentioning was Luis Urias, who is not an outfielder, has never played in the outfield, but he is a 29-year-old right-handed hitter. And I wonder if the Cardinals would bring in a player like that, maybe 1 year, $3 million, something like that. Let him play the corners all over the place, and get him on that right side. Because outside of that, I mean, we're talking Tim Anderson. We're talking.
Remember when he got punched?
Yeah, I really liked him.
I know. There was a time. There was a Tim. I was really into him. And thanks. And what a collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to maintain like a 350 BABIP your entire career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think we've talked about this week over week.
Yeah.
Do we need this guy?
Well,
because this guy doesn't exist anymore.
That had been my point from the beginning, that I wasn't convinced that we need this guy. I understand the argument for it. I think you've made a good argument for why it makes sense. But at this point, I think that it would be subtraction by addition. I don't know what we're actually accomplishing by giving Rhys Hoskins some at bats, or 37-year-old Starling Marte.
No.
I mean, bring up. He's a lefty, but it's like, whatever. Bring up.
They're
Ledbetter.
all lefties, Nate. That's
yeah, I know. But
so the other thing I was going to say is I think it leads you to the obvious next way to acquire a player, if those are the only people who are available on the free agent, is, we still have some trades that we can make.
Yeah.
Do you trade a Jojo Romero for some other young right-handed hitting something? Like, can you get a quad A player? Is that the move? Are the Cardinals going to do that? It's hard for me to imagine. I don't know a lot of teams' quad A players, or like kind of light hitting right-handed outfielders, so it's hard for me to really call any names up. But I wonder if that is the move that they would make.
No, if you're going to do that, trade another one of your quad A players for that. You know what I mean? Like, I think JoJo is still a valuable trade chip. And if you're dumping him essentially to fill a very niche, maybe for 2025 only need, I don't think that's worth it. I imagine that they're still shopping him to teams that are planning to compete, and will otherwise hold him for a deadline deal for hopefully a really good return, as we often see very good relievers net at the deadline.
Net. Well, yeah, and I agree. I think that's probably the smart way to handle it. But he keeps saying he wants a right-handed hitter.
Yeah.
And
there's not many left
out there.
Yeah.
There, another person who's out there is Kike Hernandez, but I don't know this to be true. I feel like there's just no way he's not playing for the Dodgers.
It feels like Dodgers will retire, you know?
Yeah.
He might
Yeah.
as well just retire. What more? That guy is
right. I was also looking, I was like, oh yeah, Kike, he crushes lefties, right? No, not anymore. He had it's like a 70 or 80 WRC plus against lefty hitters or pitchers last year. So yeah, I think I can't. There's probably a guy out there that makes sense. I cannot find him.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is, what he looks like, what's going on.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's oops all lefties season out here, and
well, yeah,
we give it another.
You have
year.
to imagine Church is going to be playing quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
He's another lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. The Cardinals have left FanDuel Sports Network after the company missed the rights fee payments and continued to face serious financial trouble. As a result, MLB itself will take over production and distribution of Cardinals games starting in 2026. Fans will still be able to watch cable, satellite, or streaming, but MLB is the middleman instead of the regional sports network. The Cardinals have already announced pricing $19.99 per month or $100 buckaroos for the full season. Inevitable.
Yeah.
Probably ultimately good that this happened.
I think so.
I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I'm kind of confused at what I'm going to pay for.
I just I know this whole FanDuel thing didn't really work out, but I just hope people are still out there betting. You know what I mean? I just really hope, even though we're not watching it on FanDuel Network, just please be out there betting, everyone.
When you see something like this happen, obviously your thoughts and your heart first goes out to the gambling companies.
That's what I'm. So please, don't let this discourage you all. Just go bet.
Yeah,
they need it. Just bet. For the Cardinals,
no, I think we're good. You nailed it. We can move on to the next topic. Yeah. All right. The only thing I had, Nate, was 5 days until pitchers and catchers report. It's happening, baby.
Yes, and 1 month from today, you and I will be meeting up in Tampa Bay for our little spring training excursion.
I'm gonna make Peete shake my hand.
Come here. You go to shake his hand, and he just lifts your whole body up with each. It's like Coyote hammers you into the ground. You know what I mean? Just by shaking your hand.
Yeah, I have a friend of a friend was working at a retail store, and I think it was one of the Blues. It was either one of the Blues or one of the Rams came into the store and shook this guy's hand and accidentally broke one of the little bird bones in his hand. Yeah. So that you're joking, Nate, but I mean that's assault.
Having both worked in an Apple store, which is forces celebrities and athletes and whatnot to come into the store to get their stuff taken care of. We ran into a fair amount of Cardinal players and Ram players and stuff like that, and just knowing myself and the genuine, myself included this, and the general population of Apple Store employees. I'm sure we did. I'm surprised we didn't have a lot of little bird bones getting broken by.
Yeah. Only player I ever met when we were working there that I was disappointed by was Jaime Garcia.
Oh yeah,
who's total jerk. Everybody else was great.
Yeah, I helped. Well, I met Wayne Gretzky, which was cool. Although he's kind of an asshole, but it's just crazy to meet. There's no other sport where there's there is one unequivocal greatest of all time.
It's him.
And it's him. Yeah. Him and his 3 gigantic sons came into the store. But I also sold John Rooney an entire set of iPhones and whole new plans and everything. And then it fell apart at the end, and he was so mad and started kind of getting mad at everybody. And I was like, no, John Rooney, no. I love John Rooney. As someone who listens to a lot of radio, I'm a big fan of John Rooney. So no, don't get mad at me, John Rooney.
Yeah.
The Apple Store makes the worst of us all, so I don't even, blame him.
Yeah. All right, Nate, that's all I got.
All right. Well, Hambone, if you're out there listening and you want to support this show, consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. It's a way to support our show directly, and we really appreciate it. We have our little Patreon community that we are incredibly grateful for, and as a member of that Patreon, you get access to our private Bird Scored. It's our private Discord server where we're talking about the Cardinals, chatting about everything. I mean, it's pretty active at this point, especially this offseason. It's been my go-to place to talk about anything and everything Cardinals. There's a really cool group of people in there. And hey, fantasy baseball is coming back around, Hambone. I know it's your favorite thing. We had a huge league last year and maybe even bigger this year. We'll see how we might get to the point where we have to start separating or doing like just a crazy deep, sort of thing. But if you want to be a part of that, if you remember, we had the winner of last year's fantasy baseball championship come on to the show and beat Ben in a little game.
I think a rematch is in the works.
Well,
that was an unclean win.
He's gonna need to repeat the championship, I suppose. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. A great way to stay connected to the team and to other listeners and supporters of the show. Patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. We also appreciate anyone who supports the show with a review on their favorite podcast platform. And of course, tell your friends, tell your family. It's baseball season, baby. We're back. Hambone, where can people find us otherwise?
That was dope, Nate. That was so cool.
Thanks, Don.
You can find us on all the socials. We got Blue Sky, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. You can watch this episode on YouTube if you're one of those freaks. You can find all the podcast information and more. We got t-shirts, everything at talkingaboutbirds.com. Of course, you could email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And as always, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
848-48-BIRDS. All right, Hambone. There's been a little bit of league news over this last week. What do we got? What do you want to talk about?
Another deal coming right hot off the press is basically as soon as we started recording, Framber Valdez and the Detroit Tigers are in agreement on a 3-year, $115 million contract. What is it? $38 million AAV. And the Tigers go out and make a pretty exciting splash. I love this deal. I've only been able to think about it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But sitting here, I think it's a great move. I love the Tigers pushing in. The margins on the AL Central are so thin that Framber Valdez that could be it. That could be the thing that pushes you over. But obviously having him paired with Tarek Skubal and hopefully another solid year from Jack Flaherty, that team's good.
Yeah.
I want good things to happen to that team.
They made the playoffs last year. We're a competitive team all throughout. They are better with Framber. Some of their younger players are only going to get better. Like, I think it's great. If they're not going to trade Tarek Skubal, then this was the right move. Go further all in. Some are maybe arguing that they are going to still trade Tarek Skubal, and this is like an immediate replacement of him. But that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know. We'll see. But I love it.
The mechanics of trading a Skubal at this point, it seems. I actually think it would counter the argument of signing Framber, because if you're trying to win, you keep Tarek Skubal and you add to him.
Yeah.
It seems very stupid to me to trade Tarek Skubal and then sign who you think would be his replacement, because nobody's his replacement.
Yeah. This is not the same because Tarek Skubal is somehow several levels above this, but like what the Brewers just did with trading Freddie Peralta, we were pretty like, what a smart move by the Brewers, and then we're like, don't trade Skubal,
but that's because Skubal is the best pitcher on the planet. I have read some theories of like them trading him to the Dodgers and getting Glasnow back. That one makes some sense to me. If you get Glasnow, trade him for Skubal, you get a couple other guys from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Then you're making a little more sense to me. But it is a very hard line to walk.
Yeah, it seems like it's not going to happen at this point, which is
Yeah.
good. We want we like the Tigers.
I want the Tigers to be good. Yeah, that's more fun. The Reds bring back a former Red. They sign Eugenio Suarez to a 1-year, $15 million deal. And I'll tell you, Nate, that is a lot less money than I thought he was. I guess I was way high on Eugenio. But
Well, I took him in our
only
little
1
game,
year,
which we'll dig in on that next week.
Yeah.
But yes, I was by this. I mean, he's an interesting player. He's getting old. He just had a crazy year, maybe a career year. A lot of risk in the profile, but he certainly hits a lot of dongs. And I think this is a good signing for the Reds, annoyingly. When we were talking about like, ooh, I'm glad the Reds didn't get Schwarber. This is not the same type of player as Schwarber, but it is someone who will go there and hit a bunch of home runs. I had forgotten actually that he was a Red in the first place.
Oh yeah, he had a couple of a handful of great years with the Reds back in the day.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about it entirely. Then I saw it. I mean, he was with them up until 2021.
I guess you're just really stupid.
I guess I'm just stupid. Damn.
Poor guy. Sucks to suck. All right. Another fun move. The Giants signed Luis Arias to a 1-year deal worth 12 million buckaroos. And they're saying, have you seen this? Have you read about this? They're saying that he's going to be their second baseman.
This is so. I'm not an Arias guy. All right. I think he's been good. There's undeniable. He's had some successful seasons. He had a nearly 4 WAR season with the Padres, but he's the type of player where absolutely everything has to come together exactly right for him to be anything more than just a fun batting average guy. And it has happened, and it has also not happened. Last year, he was pretty bad. And he's going to a horrible ballpark for power. Yes, his batting average might sustain there. But part of the reason he actually did have a good year offensively is that he managed it, hit double digit home runs that year. And he's not good defensively. So
I think that's the real problem with this deal is that he's a bad fielder.
Yeah.
I think he's an excellent hitter.
Sure.
I do think that he could probably strategically trade some swing and miss for some power and be a much better hitter. That being said, I do love that he's kind of this weird unicorn that does it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's fun like for another team to have. Oh wow, this guy hits like 338 with like a 355 batting or OBP and 360 slugging. It's like, yeah, it's fun, but it doesn't really work unless you're doing other things too.
There's a lot of outfield in San Francisco. I think I could see him having a nice offensive year. I think we were talking about this either we were texting each other, or maybe this was in the Bird Scored. But, you're looking at the way their defense is lining up, and you have Rafi Devers, Luis Arias, and Jung-Hoo Lee all on the same side of the diamond.
Everyone's just going to be bunting over to the right side.
That's got to be the worst side of any team in baseball right now from a defensive standpoint. And, I think Matt Chapman and Harrison Bader are fantastic, but you also got Heliot Ramos out there, who's a terrible outfielder. This is like, we're getting to the point where we can start judging Buster's team building, and I'm kind of
we'll see.
Right, I have a huge question mark over it. Right, this is not how I would build a team.
Arias is like one of the last guys I would have signed if I was the Giants for my second baseman. Yeah.
They should have got Brendan Donovan, but too late for that.
Yep. What if they now go and trade to the Seattle for him? You never really see that.
The White Sox acquire former Cardinal Jordan Hicks from the Red Sox and a pitching prospect, David Sandlin for 2 players to be named later, and cash from the Red Sox. And they also included minor league righty Gage Zeal. Pretty minor move, but it includes one of our favorites,
Sure.
Jordan Hicks, who I like. Honestly, gun to my head, I'm not sure I could have told you which team he was on before this trade happened. He's kind of faded. He went from arguably the most exciting player in baseball to the most forgettable human in MLB, which
the transition to starter
wild.
didn't work. And then I guess hasn't transitioned back to the bullpen well either, which is tough. That's tough.
Yeah. Never forget that he exploded one of Yadier Molina's testicles, though.
Never forget.
I'll die with that knowledge.
That was Yadi's 9/11 for sure.
All right, Nady, that's all the league news I got this week.
All right, Hambone. With the trade of Brendan Donovan, do you know how many All-Stars the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals have?
Mason Wynn, 1. I feel like Ryan Stanek probably made an All-Star team at one point. He was really good there for a couple of years. I could see that. He's like 34, 35 now. End of list?
Yeah, and I'm actually even looking, did Mason Wynn actually make an All-Star game?
I thought he did. Am I making that up?
I don't think he did, Hambone. At least my list
he just got the glove.
Has not been named.
No All-Star.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So wait, is it Ryan Stanek? Did he actually do it, or did I make that up?
There is no Cardinal.
Wow.
That is All-Star experience.
Okay, so maybe you're setting this up, and I'm gonna undercut you. Who is going to make it to the All-Star team this year?
So I've got a game for you.
Oh, okay.
But that is a question that I kind of wanted to end this with. We'll see how long this game takes. So the 2026 Cardinals currently have 0 All-Stars. I thought we would just go back a few years and just see if we can remember who were All-Stars in the previous years. So Hambone, can you remember? It's sort of 2 questions. How many All-Stars did they have in the year, and who were they? So I got all this in front of me. So 2025, can you remember?
2025. Can I remember? I don't know. Obviously I was wrong about Mason Wynn. They had to have somebody though.
Every year there's at least one.
Every year there's at least one. It could have been Helsley.
You know what? Let's do this a little different because I'm going to give you the Cardinals had 1 All-Star in 2025. Can you think of who it was?
Okay. Could have been Burley. Man, this is how much I care about the All-Star game. This is
Burley
really going to show
on the team, so you know that can't be him.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going to say Ryan Helsley. Let's make a choice.
Brendan Donovan was our only All-Star in 2025.
There we go.
2024, there was 1 All-Star.
Again, I'm really going to show how much I care about the All-Star game here. Don't know. I guess I'll say Ryan Helsley.
You got it. Ryan Helsley was the Cardinals representative in 2024. 2023, there was 1 All-Star. Can you remember who it was?
I thought that wasn't. I assumed that would be 2. So I'm getting my years confused. Goldie?
No, it was Nolan Arenado in 2023.
Goldie did not make it that year?
No, but in 2022, the Cardinals
Goldie
had.
and
let me see. 1, 2.
All-Star game voting is stupid.
The Cardinals had 5 All-Stars in 2022.
Sure. Goldie, Nato, Yachty.
Nope.
Albert.
Yes.
Wayno.
No.
I don't know. Just naming players now.
Goldie, Arenado, Pujols, Helsley.
Nice.
And your boy, Miles Michaelis.
Really?
Yep.
Again, All-Star voting is stupid.
I got one last.
I know that was a manager selection, but that's still dumb.
Yeah.
He should not have been there.
I got one more for you. How about 2021? There was 3.
2021. I don't even remember who was on the team. Give me Newt Bar. Give me Newt Bar.
No, it was
Yeah.
what a collapse. It was Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, and Alex Reyes.
Yes, good for him.
How about that? Trick question, 2020.
There was no All-Star game.
Hey, he got it. All right. So, Hambo, let's imagine the Cardinals have one All-Star in 2026. Who's your bet?
If I had to put money on it, if I really wanted to win this, I'd probably say Riley O'Brien.
Damn.
Just because I could see him having a really, really nice year as a closer.
Yeah.
And getting selected because his stuff is unbelievable. Is Mason Wynn? Mason Wynn's there though. He's in that same the problem with Mason Wynn is he's blocked by some like absolute megawatt superstars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I was trying to win a bet, I would vote Riley O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean we had Ryan Helsley in it. It is often bad teams. Like who's your best players like that random, your closer or whatever. And
right.
And hopefully I think we're both pretty high on Riley O'Brien and I hope he is a very good back of the bullpen guy for the Cardinals for a while. But I think it is Mason Wynn. If not Mason Wynn, I think JJ Weatherholt is as likely a candidate as the other two. Mason Wynn, he got the Gold Glove last year. He is certainly, his name ID is very high at this point. And I think if he just hits reasonably well and keeps that high-end defense, he's not going to win the shortstop spot over, like you said, some of the best players, Mookie Betts or whatever.
Francisco Lindor,
there's
Trey Turner, Ellie De La Cruz, it's Bo Bichette now is in this league,
right? Although he's playing second, right?
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah,
it'll be tough for him to win the vote, but at the end of the day, like when the Cardinals get someone selected, I could see it being Mason Wynn because he's their their most well-known player. Yeah. JJ Weatherholt though, he could come in with there's always a rookie or two, Yeah. It's they carry their prospect pedigree into the season. They play well and they get the nod as sort of it's fun. Look, we got a rookie in it, and I think he's as good a guess as any of the other guys.
Yeah, I still think Nico Horner exists, Ketel Marte exists.
Well, right, but
Bryce
it's not.
Terang
I'm not saying
exists.
Starter, right? It's they have.
No, I know, but there's such a glut.
Yeah. Colton Ledbetter, it is. All right.
What about Ivan Herrera?
That's a good point. We've left
smack some. He could doink some dongs and get himself into the conversation. There's still a lot of players he has to climb over to do that, but.
I think we're both. Yeah. I think we're under the assumption that this is going to be a selected player to make sure the Cardinals have a representative in it. At which point, the actual position matters less. It's just who.
That's fair.
It's just who's your best player. They're probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
They're not going to get to play.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Mason Wynn, if he's hitting at all okay, and the league picks someone for the Cardinals, it's it's Mason Wynn. He just won a Gold Glove.
Right. And I'm going to throw out Burley Biscuits too. Maybe he'll hit above 300. People like that.
Oh yeah.
And they'll bring him in.
Jordan Walker, final answer. All right, Hambone, that's going to do it for this week's episode. This offseason has been crazy. Offseason's almost done. And so we're going to actually have spring training stats and news from spring training to talk about really soon. Haim has done us a favor. I also realized, Hambone, one last note. I'm assuming Haim Bloom is a listener of the show because he has been very consistent with getting deals done a day or day before our podcast record schedule. Mozeliak was always getting it done a minute after we got done recording. And Heim's getting it all done, like plenty of time for us to prep and record on. So shout out to Heim. Heim
Yeah, come on the pod, bud.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week as we always are. And thank you everyone for listening. Check out the links, everything at talkingaboutbirds.com. And until next week, go Cardinals.
Sinja.
Talking out.